Welcome to Zen Fits. Here we are in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world, but then you too are at the center of the world. So, the title of this talk today is The Fear of Being Blue. So I live in Blackstone, which is Southside Virginia, which is rural Virginia. It's Southside is the south side of Virginia, and it covers the Piedmont area where that was primarily a tobacco farming countryside. Small towns, small populations, very conservative, and I don't know why I live here. However, Blackstone has been my adopted home. I came here in 1980 temporarily, and tried to leave in the 80s, but I was unsuccessful. So I became a writer for the local paper and adopted the town. Say this, you know, this is home. The first time in my life I stopped thinking about where I was going to go next. That was a transformative moment when you realize that there is no place you can go that you will be better than you are right now. That your sense of being who you are and your okayness is not dependent upon location in space or location on geography or dependent upon anything. So that's kind of like been my practice here. I practice Buddhism in the sense that I dig down into the present moment rather than looking outward to a better moment somewhere else in time or space. This is it. This is it. So anyway, the title of this talk is The Fear of Being Blue. And so Facebook, particularly the local Facebook, is kind of like on a buzz about the, oh my God, the Yankees have taken over now. The Democrats have won, you know. And the fear goes from mild to extreme. The baby killers are coming, and they're going to come and knock on, bust down your door and take your guns away, and all of these extreme, irrational fears. And I can't help but be reminded of what it must have felt like here during the Civil War, which is still very active in Virginia. You know, most of the Civil War was fought right here. All the battlefields, the sacred ground, you know, the great battles between the two armies were fought. Half of them were fought here. The rest of them were fought over on the west around Vicksburg and in that area there. But Virginia is Civil War sacred ground, and they have a lot of reenactments here. One summer, I spent the summer going to these reenactments and taking photographs of it. And we set up a tent where I had a computer and a printer, and we would take a picture of somebody in their uniform and then put them into an old picture, you know, right there. That was a big deal. And but it was a lot of fun. But I really got to get the sense and the passion and the religion of the Civil War, the religion of the reenactment. And the reenactors go from purists to liberals themselves. You have the purists who everything must be authentic Civil War, even the underwear, everything. And the liberals, well, I got my Heinz on, you know, and I got my own underwear, whatever, you know, nobody will know, you know. So it runs that gamut there. But it's a great theater. It's historical theater, and people take a lot of care in making sure that the details of the battles and everything is correct, you know. So there's a lot of argument over authenticity and the correctness and all of that, you see. So it is kind of like a religion, a historical religion, you see. So that's why it's reenacted. It's almost like it's reenacted in hopes that it'll come out different. Maybe we reenact it, we could, you know, that's what is a ritual anyway? A ritual is, first of all, is a behavior that is repeated over and over and over again. And rituals are ritual people take care of making sure that the ritual is exact. You know, it's we all have suddenly the tennis player comes to my mind, Nadal. And the doll has a ritual. You know, when he gets ready to hit the ball, he pulls these pants out of his crack. You know, so it's kind of like athletes. We all these, we call them tics or behaviors that we have to go through. That's a ritual. So we have these little rituals that seem to center us. If I don't do the ritual, I won't be centered. Now, if I don't pray or do my religious ritual, or I do my little behavior ritual, Monk comes to mind. That was a great TV series about obsessive rituals, where he could not solve a crime unless he got the salt and pepper arranged just right. If there was anything askew in the room, he couldn't solve a problem. Everything had to be a crime, you see. So this ritual effect is, you know, reenacting in order to stay centered. So you may think I'm stirring from something, but really, when you look at the, I forgot my timepiece here. Wait a minute. Don't know how long I'm talking. So the ritual of reenactment says something about the South, because the Civil War, and I just watched a documentary called about the Civil War, and it was devastating for the South, particularly Sherman's March to the Sea and the destruction of the infrastructure, kill the hogs, burn the crops, you know, the whole thing. This devastation of the South is a terrible wound, and a wound is a grievance. A wound is a pain that is we have personal wounds, grievances, and we have a collective one. So as a region, the South has a collective wound that hasn't healed. So today, now, Virginia has been turned blue. After 25 years, Democrats have won the trifecta. They won the three branches of government in Virginia, so the Democrats are in control. And in my local community here, there's a lot of dread and trepidation and fear and gloom and predictions of the end of time. You know, and it just reminds me of a reenactment of when the North won the war, and they came in and changed Southern society by giving black people power. It was called Reconstruction, and it only lasted as long as the Army was here. As soon as the politicians, as soon as they withdrew the Army, Jim Crow came to power. You know, Mr. Jim Crow came to power and restored the values of segregation. You know, and then the civil rights in the 60s, and the Democratic Party became the party of segregation. Southern Democrats. You know, Southern Democrats ruled the country pretty much because they voted as a bloc. They voted as a bloc, you see. But with Nixon and the civil rights of the LBJ, the party shifted, and the Republicans became the Southern Democrats, and the Democrats became, in other words, and the Republican, it flipped in the South. So the Republicans have become the Southern Democrats in the South and preserved the values of the South and addressed the wound, the collective wound that basically says never again will the North take over the South. You see, this never again feeling is the feeling that we won't be defeated again. You know, this whole protection and living here. You get as a say liberal, you get the feeling of this fear of being invaded by these anti-Christ, anti-American baby killers. This is extreme, of course, but this whole picturing of the Democrats and liberals as being some kind of cosmic evil that's going to take over. This is all pain body. This is all irrational, psychological collective grievance and fear of the invaders. You know, back in the 80s, late 80s or early 90s, when I was writing with the Courier Record here about the local news, when the cable franchise finally came to town, where everybody had antennas, you know, and oh, where's cable? Well, finally a local cable company kid says, okay, we want to bring cable to Blackstone. And the founding fathers, the town council, said, okay, we'll let you have cable, but do us a favor. You can't have MTV. Those are northern values. Those are values that will corrupt the youth. Those are black values that will corrupt the youth, you see. So we can let your cable come in, but no MTV. We'll protect the values, you see. So this whole idea of protecting the values of the South, you see, from these invading values of the North or the East or or liberals or whatever, you see, is kind of like an irrational pain buddy, you know. And so I just see it reenacting today a little bit as the feared liberals and Democrats take control of the state. And oh my God, what's going to happen now? And all the predictions are going, the taxes are going to go up, we're going to lose our guns, and there's going to be crime in the streets, and abortions will be birth control, and all these irrational fears, you know, are just coming out of Pandora's box and everything. So don't be afraid to be blue. Don't be afraid to be blue. Thanks for dropping in.